is from God, then you would expect that it could predict the future with accuracy, if it's from God. There's been prophets that have come on the scene claiming all kinds of sources of inspiration, but none of them has been able to really predict the future with any accuracy. One of the great prophets in the last, 50 years was Jean Dixon. You remember her? She predicted that JFK was going to be assassinated. However, if you actually look at the prediction, it's so ambiguous and vague that she was pretty right. Had a good chance. She said that the Democratic contender will win, but he will be assassinated or die in office. Well, that broadened it out quite a bit. Though not necessarily in the first term. Considering the history of the past presidents, she had a 7-3 chance of being right with that prediction. However, she also predicted that World War II would begin in World War III would begin in 1954. That didn't happen. Nixon would defeat Kennedy, which contradicted her earlier prediction, and that Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis would not marry Aristotle Onassis, who she married the very next day. So her track record perhaps is not that stellar. No one has been able to completely predict the future with any type of accuracy without being incredibly vague and ambiguous. But what about this? What if I were able to make you the following predictions? All right? I'm going to put them up on the screen. Number one, Saddam Hussein will destroy all but the island portion of New York City. Many nations, not just few people, but many nations will fight against New York City. New York City will be made of bare rock, flat like the top of a rock. Fishermen will spread their nets over the heap that was once New York City. The debris from the buildings in New York City will be thrown into the water. New York City will never be rebuilt. New York City's glory will never be restored, and I will be laughed at and mocked and disregarded as a lunatic. There's one of those that I can get right really easily. That's the last one. All right? But the rest of it, I'm going to get pretty ridiculed about. Yeah, I will be laughed and mocked. But, what about this? What if we rename the city of New York as Tyre, and we rename Saddam Hussein as Nebuchadnezzar? And then I predict the same thing. Ezekiel, at the time that this prophecy was made in Ezekiel 26, Tyre was a powerful city, holding a stature much like New York. 3 years after this prophecy, Nebuchadnezzar did lay siege to the city. The inhabitants all but abandoned the city and moved offshore to a nearby island where they fortified themselves and remained a powerful city for several hundred more years. During this time, it must have seemed that Ezekiel's prophecy was not wholly correct, but then, guess who comes along? Alexander the Great, who builds a causeway to the island using what? Debris from the old city. More conquerors were to follow, and in the 12th century AD, complete history had been fulfilled. The prophecy had been fulfilled that Ezekiel made. Okay? Ezekiel chapter 26, verse 3. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says, I am your enemy, O Tyre, and I will bring many nations against you, like the waves of the sea crashing against your shoreline. They will destroy the walls of Tyre and tear down its towers. I will scrape away its soil and make it a bare rock. It will be just a rock in the sea, a place for fishermen to spread their nets. For I have spoken, says the sovereign Lord. Tyre will become a prey of many nations, and its mainland villages will be destroyed by the sword. Then they will know that I am the Lord. And verse 7, he goes on, this is what the sovereign Lord says, from the north I will bring King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon against Tyre. He is the king of kings, and his horses and chariots and charioteers and great army. First he will destroy your mainland villages, then he will attack you by building a siege wall, constructing a ramp, and raising a roof of shields against you. I know. It happened. It happened before anyone could have imagined that it would. It was prophesied, and then it happened. Throughout the Bible, you find prophecies that are fulfilled in eerie detail. Daniel chapter 2, this is a whole sermon in and of itself. But once again, it shows the power of God to predict the future. Nebuchadnezzar, this king we just talked about, has a dream one night. In this dream, he sees a statue. He can't figure out what it means. Finally, Daniel is called. Daniel, being a servant of God, Actually, Daniel wasn't called. Daniel was going to go be killed because the king was so mad at his wise men that he said, all right, fine, kill them all. They go to get Daniel. Daniel says, wait. Just give me a day. Let me pray about this. I'll give you an answer. He comes before the king and he says, look, this is what is going to happen. Verse 36, he tells him the dream, which the king didn't even remember. This was the dream. Now we'll tell the king what it means. Your majesty, you are the greatest of kings. The God of heaven has given you sovereignty, power, strength, and honor. He has made you ruler over all the inhabited world and has even put the wild animals and birds under your control. You are the head of gold. He saw this beast, this image, this big image made of different metals. But after you, a kingdom comes to end. But after your kingdom comes to an end, another kingdom inferior to yours will rise to take its place. After that kingdom is fallen, yet a third kingdom, represented by bronze, will rise to rule the world. Following that kingdom, there will be a fourth one, as strong as iron. That kingdom will smash and crush all previous empires, just as iron smashes and crushes everything it strikes. The feet and toes you saw were a combination of iron and baked clay, showing that this kingdom will be divided. Like iron mixed with clay, it will have some strength of iron. While some parts it will be as strong as iron, other parts will be as weak as clay. This is an amazing history of what happened. Babylon. After Babylon came Medo-Persia. After Medo-Persia came Greece. After Greece came Rome, that kingdom of iron that destroyed everything. And then it was divided into the feet and 10 toes of iron and clay that would not mix together, which represents modern Europe, or the kingdoms that really can't quite work together. They're trying, but in time after time, people have tried to unite all of Europe, and it's never been done because God said it wouldn't be done. It's been prophesied from hundreds and hundreds of years